They cut their way out of the tent from the inside, not through the door, through the canvas, like something made them so terrified that unzipping the entrance would take too long. Then they ran barefoot into negative 40-degree weather, into the Siberian winter, into the dark. Some were found with missing eyes, missing tongues. One had fatal chest fractures comparable to a high-speed car crash, but no external injuries, no bruises, nothing, for 60 years. The Soviet government called it a compelling natural force. That's all, just those 3 words in the official report. But in 2019, documents finally surfaced, and what they revealed is somehow worse than any paranormal theory we could have imagined. This is the Dyatlov Pass incident, and the truth was hiding in plain sight the entire time. January 1959. The Soviet Union is in the grip of the Cold War. Space race. Nuclear tension. Secrets everywhere. 9 experienced hikers set out from Yekaterinburg, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, all of them students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. These aren't amateurs. They're grade 2 hikers, the second highest certification in the Soviet system. Their goal, reach Mount Orotin, a trek considered category 3, the most difficult, but they never make it. February 1st. The group is supposed to send a telegram when they return. The date comes and goes. Nothing. At first nobody's worried. Delays are common, weather happens, but then days turn into a week. Families start asking questions. February 20th. A search team finally goes looking. February 26th. They find the tent, and this is where everything stops making sense. The tent is still standing, partially collapsed from snow but intact. Their supplies still inside, food, warm clothes, boots, everything they'd need to survive. But the tent has been shredded. From the inside, multiple cuts, deliberate slashes, and leading away from the tent, footprints, 8 or 9 sets of them, some barefoot, some in socks, some in a single boot, heading downhill toward the tree line. The temperature that night, negative 25 to negative 30 degrees Celsius. That's negative 13 to negative 22 Fahrenheit. You have minutes in those conditions without proper clothing. Minutes. The searchers follow the footprints for over a mile, down the slope, into the forest. Then they find the first 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, under a large cedar tree, barefoot, in their underwear, frozen solid. Branches above them are broken off, up to 5 meters high, like someone climbed the tree. Why? To see something, to escape something. Between the cedar and the tent, they find 3 more bodies over the next few days. Igor Dyatlov himself, Zenaida Kolmogorova, Rustam Slobodin, all in various states of undress, all positioned like they were trying to crawl back to the tent. Autopsies show they died of hypothermia. That makes sense, right? Except Rustam has a skull fracture, 4 bodies still missing. The search continues into May. Spring thaw, snow melting, May 4th. They find the remaining 4 in a ravine buried under 4 meters of snow, and this is where the incident becomes something else entirely. Lyudmila Dubinina, missing her tongue, missing her eyes, missing soft facial tissue, her chest, completely caved in, ribs shattered. But here's the thing. The medical examiner says the force required would be equivalent to a car crash, but there are no external wounds, no bruises on the skin, just internal devastation. Alexander Zolotaryov, same chest injuries, also missing his eyes. Nikolai Thiboksbrignols, massive skull fracture, the kind that kills instantly. But Semyon Zolotaryov, they find him with a camera around his neck. The film is later developed. The last photo shows nothing conclusive, just darkness and unclear shapes. The official investigation closes in May 1959. Cause of death, a compelling natural force. The case is sealed. The area is closed to hikers and adventurers for 3 years. Locals start calling it Dyatlov Pass, named after the leader who never made it home. And then, silence, Soviet silence. The kind that means don't ask questions, but people do ask questions. For 60 years they ask questions. The theories come fast. Infrasound, low-frequency waves that cause panic and paranoia. The area is known for strange wind patterns. Could it have driven them mad, made them claw their way out in terror? Secret military testing. There's a military installation relatively close by. Some witness reports mention orange spheres in the sky that night. Missiles, parachute mines, chemical weapons, radiation. Some of the clothing tests positive for radiation, not enough to kill them, but enough to be strange. Were they contaminated before, or did they encounter something out there? And then the theories get darker. The Mansi people, indigenous to the area. The mountain has a name in their language. Don't go there. Did the hikers violate sacred ground? The Mansi deny any involvement, and the evidence supports them. But the question lingers: yetis, aliens, government cover-ups. For 60 years, every theory sounds equally impossible. Until 2019, a team of Swiss scientists decides to investigate, not the paranormal angles, the avalanche theory. It had been dismissed early on because there was no obvious avalanche debris, no massive snow flow. The tent was still standing, but these scientists use modern computer modeling, snow physics, trauma analysis, and they discover something the 1959 investigators couldn't have known: a delayed slab avalanche. Here's what happens. The hikers set up camp on a slope. They dig into the snow to create a flat platform. This destabilizes the snowpack above them, but not immediately. The snow needs time, pressure, wind. Hours later, while they sleep, a relatively small slab releases, not the kind of avalanche that buries a village, just enough to hit the tent with devastating force, enough to cause those chest injuries, those skull fractures, blunt force trauma from above. The survivors panic. They can't find the entrance in the chaos and darkness. They cut their way out. They flee downhill, planning to wait until morning, then return for supplies. But in those temperatures, morning never comes. The missing soft tissue, the eyes and tongue, scavenging animals and decomposition in water. The bodies in the ravine were lying in a stream. Months pass before they're found. Nature does what nature does: the radiation. One of the hikers worked in a facility that exposed him to trace amounts. His clothes were shared or swapped in the chaos. The orange spheres, possibly real, possibly unrelated. The military tested rockets in the region, just not that night, just not there. In 2019, the Russian government officially reopens the case. In 2020, they close it again. Official cause: avalanche. The science fits. The evidence fits. After 60 years of conspiracy and paranormal speculation, it was just nature, just a tragic miscalculation on an unforgiving mountain. But here's what haunts me. They cut their way out so frantically, so desperately. Like the seconds it would take to find the zipper were seconds they didn't have. Imagine the sound, the pressure, the darkness, your friends screaming, not knowing if the entire mountain is coming down on you. You make a choice in that moment. You choose the cold over the unknown. You choose the certainty of freezing over being buried alive. And that choice kills you. Not a monster, not a conspiracy, just a split-second decision based on incomplete information. The most human way to die imaginable. 9 experienced hikers. 9 sets of footprints leading away from safety. 9 people who survived the initial disaster, only to die in the aftermath. The Soviets didn't hide a conspiracy. They hid their incompetence. They didn't understand what happened, so they said nothing. And in that silence, legends grew. Sometimes the truth isn't a cover-up. Sometimes the truth is just, no one knew, and somehow, that's so much worse. They were 23 years old. They thought they had time. The mountain disagreed.